Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with a new Viking Orations. Got another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be talking to you about the debut full-length album from the band Imperiosus, entitled Grip Your Steel, out August 12th through the band themselves. If you are not familiar with Imperiosus, they are a thrash slash heavy metal band out of Portland, Oregon. Been around since just last year in 2025, featuring Scott DeRoja, which again, I hope I pronounced your name right. On the drums, he of course is also in Memorialist, who also just released an absolutely killer album themselves. And I was surprised to find out that he was actually in the now defunct band Spellcaster, who are another really awesome kind of traditional heavy metal band out of the Portland area. But you also have Cameron Hunt on the bass, Tyler King on lead guitars, and Lucas Salazar on guitars and vocals. Like I said, this is their debut full-length album. It is 10 tracks, just a little over 26 minutes in length. And, despite this band releasing a demo last year, these dudes flew under my radar until my buddy Matt Madani, who of course is also in Memorialist with Scott, got in touch with me and wanted to see if he could get Scott in touch with me about possibly checking out this debut album from this new band that he had going. Of course, I was honored that they would even think to even offer something like this to me. So, of course, I said yes. And a couple days later, I got, message from Scott, and then the inbox promo arrived in the inbox. And, I gotta say, after spending some time with this, one thing, that you could say about this album is that it is very old school sounding. After a nice little acoustic led instrumental intro, the real fun really begins with the second track, the first one proper, entitled Crypt Fiend, with this kind of really cool little drum intro, followed by a guitar slide right into some really fast picked riffing that just screams pure old school heavy metal. Now, admittedly, with that intro to track number 2, I thought the drums seemed a little bit wonky, but as the album progressed and the more I actually listened to this album over and over again, they actually sounded a lot better to me. I don't know what it was about that initial, when I first heard it, I was like, man, something just seems off about those drums. But like I said, after I listened to it repeatedly, they actually sound really good, I have to say. They have a very organic sound to him. As Scott's playing, is never anything really super flashy or technical or anything like that. He just, lays down some really solid thrash beats and some nice rhythms, lots of killer patterns, rolls, and fills. I mean, his drum fills and everything. His drum rolls are just absolutely awesome. Some nice double bass on here and on occasion, and he even throws in some blast beats here and there, such as, again, going back to track number 2, Crypt Fiend. And what's interesting is that, even during that little kind of blast beaty section, the riffs kind of take on a little bit of a almost black metal-esque, like tremolo feel to them. At least I think it's very slight, but that's kind of what I was feeling. Cameron's bass, though, on this thing is just absolutely killer. It's thick with just a little bit of a twang to it. It's got a bit of a grit to it as well. It doesn't sound like it's very overly polished or anything, which makes it, I think, a little bit heavier, and it sticks perfectly in the mix throughout this entire thing. You could easily hear it laying down some, that really solid backbone to all of these songs. Really, really dug the bass on this album. The guitars, much like the bass, definitely have that kind of unpolished, a little bit of a gritty feel to them, and it's just they're just very old school sound. It's like as soon as you hear the guitars on this thing, it's like, man, that just kind of you automatically think like the old school 80s heavy metal. I think they're fast and thrashy, and again at times they kind of have almost like that black metal tremolo feel to them. It's just very slight, but it's like they're going so fast, and there's all of a sudden it just has that slight black metal-ish tone to it, I think. But you also get lots of melody and lots of hooks on here, some nice head-bangable grooves, and some really great solos, I think. Lucas's vocal delivery, he has that nice mix of like that aggressive, thrashy style of vocal delivery with the more, there's times he also takes on, even in the same song, this more kind of traditional, kind of epic heavy metal, clean vocal style, full of melody and some really nice vocal harmonies. You also get the, gang style vocals throughout this thing, which you kind of expect when you're listening to a thrash metal album. And I love when they layer his vocals, especially during the more melodic moments, as they kind of remind me of a band that many don't ever really mention called Ravensthorn, which were really awesome. Some of the things that kind of stood out to me while I was listening to this, track number 3, Creature of Night, which is, this is probably my favorite song on the entire album, I believe. There's this really badass headbangable groove at about 2:16 into the song with these kind of little bursts of fast riffing. So, you're going in the groove and then they kind of do a little bit of a fast riff and then they go back into the groove. But, they kind of trade back and forth between the two styles, I guess you can say. But, they always come back to that nice groove all the way into the rest of the song. And I honestly believe that song, especially when it gets to that particular part, is going to, really get the heads banging live. The bass in that section, that little groove, that sounds especially badass. And I kept thinking about it when I was listening. I was like, okay, what does this remind me of? Excuse me. Apologies for that. My dog was trying to get my attention. Yeah. Like I said, I was trying to figure out what that groove really reminded me of, that little section. And the more I thought about it, and I know this will probably throw some people off because they don't like this band at all, but I absolutely love them. But that groove to me sounded like it could easily be on Ghost's Opus Eponymous, excuse me. Their debut album. That groove just really reminded me a lot of that album. Again, going into track number 5, Faceless Invader, yet another example of an absolutely killer headbangable groove. This one coming at about 1:58 into the song, and this one also kind of leads into this nice wailing kind of whammy-led solo. Absolutely killer solo, I think. Probably one of the better ones on the album. And then track number 9, Soul Burner. I love that kind of little melodic break that they take about 2:06 into the song with this kind of slow pitch, very ethereal sounding riff, and that just really killer solo that's going on over the top of it. The bass, yet again, just sounds absolutely sick right here with that little slow drum beat going along with it, and then the song eventually builds kind of back up to another nice little groove, but this one not so much faster. It's just kind of more of a mid-paced groove. Really, really cool stuff. Overall, I think this is one hell of a debut album. The production overall, especially, the vocals on here just screams old school heavy metal to me. It kind of makes you think of bands like, Old Manila Road, Omen, again, Ravensthorn, which is a band, like I said, not many people talk about, which is kind of sad because those guys were awesome. Most of the songs on here are under 3 minutes in length. You've got a couple that kind of go a little over 3 minutes, and then the longest one on here is actually Soul Burner, which I just talked about, and that one is just a few ticks under 4 minutes in length. So they don't really waste any time with their stuff. They don't try to draw things out, make them sound real epic or anything like that. They just kind of get in, thrash you around and kick your ass, and then they just go on to the next one. It's just banger after banger after banger for 26 minutes straight. But at the same time, they're not just, going as fast as they can and just trying to, be as heavy as they can. Like I said, they try to make things that are so well written that they're nice and catchy and headbangable. They got those grooves and those hooks that's just going to get you just nodding your head along and just going, wanting to come back for more and more and just return to this album over again. And again, the fact that the album is only a little over 26 minutes definitely makes that a lot easier. I would give this a solid 9 out of 10. Go check out Imperiosus-Grip Your Steel. I will leave a link down below to the lead single that they have right now, which I want to say is called Full of Lead. I completely forget off the top of my head. It's like super early in the morning when I'm recording this. But yeah, again, this comes out August 12th digitally. Scott did tell me that they are planning down the road to do CDs and vinyl for this, so I am very excited for that. Like I said, I will leave a link to their Bandcamp so you can check out that single. August 12th, the full album should drop digitally, so go check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.